My name is Vaughn Harrison with the International Sailing Academy, and I'm going to talk to you about why weight is paramount to boat speed. So there's a few things we need to understand first, and that's sail force and drive force, and how your weight coincides with those two forces. So just to take a quick example of it, let's suppose that this boat is sailing upwind close hauled with proper sail trim and angle, so those are optimized. Let's have the example of how our sail force works. So it'll be a point in the sail, usually the deepest part of the sail, and you draw a force vector, and with that force vector, let's give it a number. So in this case, 100 pounds. 100 pounds of weight, okay? That 100 pounds of weight has a lever. The lever is the distance between that and the lateral resistance in the water. So let's call that, in the case of the laser, and for this demo, 10 feet. Okay. Then you've got another force, and it's the weight to the center line of the boat. All right. So it's your buoyancy upwards versus your weight downwards. Okay. And this creates another force. In this example, let's say that this distance between your weight and the buoyancy, which is the middle of the boat, is 5 feet, okay? And your weight at this point, far out of the boat, is 185 pounds. Then we have a total riding moment of 925 pounds. Okay. Once we have that riding moment, 925 pounds, what we're trying to do is equalize and maximize the amount of drive force underneath, which is then drawn like this. So your force vector coming off of your foils is creating 100 pounds of drive force, which is equal to the drive force above. But you first have to have the force in the sail and then add the weight in order to create this drive force. So I'm going to give you a few examples of how we can make that more practical in our everyday laser sailing. The first one here is already drawn out for us. Basically, we've come up with this amount of leverage. Is 100 pounds at 10 foot equals 1,000 pounds. That's 1,000 pounds that we need to hike against. In this case, we're only hiking 925. So if we added 5 more inches of leverage, we'd achieve that, in this case, 1,000 pounds, which is a very clean balance in the boat, which affords the boat to go as fast as possible, equalizing your sail force and your drive force and maximizing it by adding as much weight as possible for that amount of force. Okay. Moving forward, just a couple more examples. Let's look at sailing in light air in a puff. You've got your boat on close hauled, and your weight is fairly far inside the boat. Okay. At this point, let's say you already have a drive force and a sail force of equal amounts. Okay. Let's say a puff hits. Your sail force will increase slightly. Okay. And there's 2 ways that you can equalize your sail force to your drive force. One way is, which is not ideal, is keep your weight in the middle and slightly head up a little bit. When you head up, you'll reduce the amount of force being added to your sail, which reduces but keeps your drive force the same. Okay? But in an opposite scenario, let's say that the sail force increases. Well, now, if we add weight a little bit, we can increase our drive force, and keeping them equal and maximized is optimal for speed. So a lot of times I see people sailing upwind in light air, and whenever possible they're trying to head up and take it in for height. I would tell you that I think it would be a lot faster and to your benefit to think about trying to add weight to increase drive force as much as possible. In another example, let's take you're sailing upwind, maximum height. So you're full outboard on on the side of the rail. So this is your 185 pounds at 6 foot leverage. Okay, and we sail into a lull. Okay, so we have our drive force, our sail force, sorry, and our drive force are equal. Okay, you sail into a lull, your drive force, your sail force is decreased. Okay, but you still have all of the leverage hiking, right? Your righting moment is still there. What you'd ideally want to do is bring your sail force back up to the amount of your drive force so that you can maximize and equalize. So if you took off, say, your Cunningham or outhaul or boom bang just a little bit to increase the sail force, then you could remain hiking your flat out and keep the boat optimally equal and maximized. Okay, and for our last example is same thing. You're hiking maximum flat out and you get a puff. So let's say your boat's already equal and you get your puff. So you have an increase of sail force. Okay, now we're already hiking maximum that we possibly can, and our sail's as depowered as it can get. What we want to do is, at this point, reduce sail force in order to equalize. So what we're looking at doing is reducing this vector while still hiking as much as possible. At this point, it would be, in this example, it would be slightly sheeting out a little bit, would reduce your sail force to keep it at your maximum amount. So your maximum amount of righting moment becomes the limiting factor. So I hope all of this makes sense. If you want to learn more, or if you want to see other newsletters or articles or videos, visit our website at internationalsailingacademy.com, and I hope to hear from you soon.